Hi, everybody. A couple of issues came up this morning when we were in lab that I just wanted to address. One of them was about what do I do when I have a great big data set that I want to clip down in MAPublisher. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. But before I do that, I wanted to talk about another issue that it seems like a couple of people might be having that's worth mentioning. And that is when they bring their first data set into MAPublisher. It's this great big huge data set. And that great big huge data set then requires you to shrink the artboard. When you shrink the artboard, you're going to end up pixelating a lot of the stuff that you have to see. So I wanted to talk about a possible solution to that to everybody. This is back to ArcGIS Pro, I'm afraid to say. Some of the data that I created for the project that we talked about a couple weeks ago. And one of the things that I did in that assignment was I used the clipper, you might recall, to clip down some of the MOA data sets. And I probably recommend to everyone that the first data set you bring in to MAPublisher be a data set that you have A, clipped already in ArcGIS Pro, and B, that has a state plane coordinate system. And I happened to do that when I did the trails data before, and I actually did that for the buildings as well. So here's the building clip and here's the trail clip. And what I did is I created a separate folder that in my mapping area that was called trails clip or building clip or whatever. And then I exported this file by going to data, which you can't quite see on the screen now, and then going to export features. And then I exported that feature as a shapefile. And so the export features is going to pop up here. And there it is. There's the input feature. I changed the output location from the geodatabase into this new file that I created. And then once I did that new file creation, I gave it the same name as the folder. So I had a set of clip data that I could bring in that was projected at Alaska State Plane. So that's one solution to this, and I'm going to stop this right now, and I do recommend that you do that. It will mean that the initial data that you have is going to be projected at Alaska State Plane. And remember, you can click on this right here in the map view. I'm going to double click on it, and I'm going to open it up, and you'll see that it lists down here that the coordinate system is this NAD 83 State Plane, Alaska. That is probably the best if you're in the Anchorage area for what you want. And I'm pretty sure that the Matsu and the Kenai data will be the same as well. So then let's say you're working already, as I am right here, with this data set, and you want to bring something else in. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more data to it, an Esri shapefile, and I'm going to bring in the municipal's parkland. Now you'll note that the parkland actually has a different coordinate system. It's WGS84, which is just raw geographic coordinate system. So it's not projected in any way. Try not to use that as your initial set of data that you bring in. Try for that state plane instead. But it doesn't matter for me because I've already brought it in. So I'm going to bring this in, and you'll see that it ends up all wonky. It's not showing the way it's supposed to. And that is because, sorry, this thing has popped up on me here. That is because down here in tree data, oh my gosh, Microsoft is like a virus. That has to be projected into the state plane. So I'm going to go ahead and reproject that into the state plane, and it's going to show up. But if I zoom out of this, you'll see that it's a huge data set, much bigger than I need. And so how do I go ahead and crop that data? Well, the easiest way to do is to go down to MAPublisher crop feature down here and click on that, and then go down to vector crop. And when I'm in vector crop right here, I want to make sure that I am only clipping that park layer that I want. There's the parkland. And then I'm going to clip it to the artboard, actually. You can also clip it to a shape if you want to, but for simplicity's sake, I'm going to clip it to the artboard, and I'm going to make one corner the upper left, and I'm going to make the other corner the lower right. So that's going to be that artboard shape, and then I'm going to say, okay, and you'll see it clips it right down to that size. So that's an easy way to clip, but it raised for me, as we discussed this in class a little bit, that bigger problem of making sure the initial data set that you bring in is Alaska State Plain and is a clipped set as well. So you'll want to do both. I hope this helps some people.